Hello Chipsters, it's Gav and welcome to another one of my videos. Today we finally have, as the title suggests, Wolverine completed. It was mainly the base I was having trouble with. I wanted to do it, there's some artwork, I think it's digital artwork at Sanix's site, the guy that designs these things. Although I got this from a third party with the permission, so they say, of Sanix's, they get those what they call it, licenses or whatever to print them. Anyway, I digress. It was like a shiny, goldy, bronzy base, and now I'm not brilliant at non-metallic metal. Although this is all non-metallic metal on here, but I'm not brilliant at it. But I'm not rubbish. But do you think I could get it to my satisfaction? I must have spent a few hours anyway over the months trying to get that base how I wanted it, and in the end I just thought, you know what, a dark blue base would work. I've just literally put 3 colours on it, no major, because I wanted it dark, just a dark blue base, non-metallic metal, like rusty metal around the framework that it's got on it, because all the rest of it is like junky metal. I did think of doing some yellow, it's got like some power cables and that. I did think of doing those in like a some yellow and black stripes and that, but it'd be quite hard to get to. But I tell you what, although originally I was thinking this is never going to hold this figure in all these, I don't know why I'm doing this, we should be down at the bench, but anyway, I thought this is never going to hold this figure. But the way Sanix has designed it, it really is good. It really holds firm when it all gets plugged into the right places, Gav. The only problem I did have was I couldn't actually get the main figure to sit in the places that it's designed for, and that's probably all down to me. Not if the designer's done that well on this, he would have got the placement right. It's just me. So I've had to put a piece of evergreen I-beam in, and he literally is just super. I mean, he's dicing with death here. He's super glued on his toes and. On the front one, and toes on the back, so it's not a mass. I did try and pin it, but the to drill into, there's not enough really to drill into. Anyway, saying all that, we're going to just be down there looking at it, can we? Oh dear. Out of the ordinary for me. I don't do a lot of, in fact, first larger scale superheroes. This is a 3D print, I should have said, from Sanix. Who does all these like tribute type things. Got it from a seller. Now I've got behind me, you can just see, where are we? There, you can just see my printer in the background. I use it, as we say over here, hop and a catch, so not very often. Only because I'm in this room, it's quite fumey. I'll have to get some of them. They do get some little extra fume extractors for it, and I have the windows open, but obviously in the winter time it's cold and that. But I am doing some 3D printing for the die-cast project I'm working on, where I want to 3D print some, not particularly engines yet, because I want to see if I can make my own up for this one. But I'm doing some 3D printed bucket seats and stuff. So I do use it. Just I find, you do the leg, you'll do a torso with these, and you print off a leg and an arm and a head. When you add it all up, there's a fair amount of hours. Now this costs me, I think, 20 quid. There are striations in it, not anything like one of them FDM printers. This is done on an SLA printer, so the liquid resin. That's what I've got behind me. There are striations in them still, but you're not. Apart from very close-up photographs, you can't see them. I am going to get a test piece sometime from El Greco. That's Mars photobombing my. Go check Mars out. I'll be giving him a shout out soon. Mars from Mars's Garage. I will be getting a El Greco, where I buy my busts and figures from, big figures. They're going into, or they have been going into 3D printing. They get the license and print stuff, and they do it at 0.3 or something. I don't really understand any of that stuff. You know what I mean? I'm made smashed. I get into that. But accordingly, there's not supposed to be any, or very, very few striations. Now, they're again pitching them in around the £20-25 mark, which, as they say, is making it more affordable than buying a normal resin casted piece, which are, because they're nearly all resin casted pieces now, and they're all in the, for a 75mm piece, you're looking about £30, £35, sometimes a bit cheaper depending on how much is involved in the figure and how old the figure is. So, you know, as they were saying on their site, you get a lot better undercuts, because obviously with 3D printing it literally does whatever the designers put in. So I'm thinking of taking a punt on a fantasy piece, because they're mainly they have got some Roman ones, which I'm really into me Romans, but they looked a bit, I'm going to say, they look like they've been designed on a computer. Does that make sense? But the fantasy stuff, it looked quite good. But I would prefer not the styro. I mean, as I say, you can tell when you're painting him for definitely, but when he's this far away, you really can't see him. But I would prefer him smooth. You know, that's the game change for me, is when they can get them as smooth resin. You know, that's been poured and cast. So, but yeah, thoroughly recommend Sanix. That's Sanix. His stuff's brilliant. He does busts as well. He does a lot of the Star Wars stuff. If you're like me, a big Star Wars fan, well, especially the old school stuff, he does a lot of that as well. And as I say, you don't have to have a 3D printer. As I say, it was, for me, it was for the faff around factor of printing something for so long and all the cleanup and everything. It was, for the price that it was being pitched at, 20 quid with the postage, including the postage. You know, it wasn't worth me printing something that size out on my printer. I'll do the smaller war game type sizes. There isn't a lot of point in me buying those in, especially as most of the time you can't sell them. See, what I don't understand is, somebody can buy and a lot of them don't have official permission, let's face it, on eBay. It's the Wild West in it, but a lot of them will buy now this is, although it's fan art, it's still being sold, right? So why couldn't I sell that off as a painted piece? Because they say you're not supposed to sell them. I don't know about that. This seller I bought this off, and I've long I have saved it, I think, but on my eBay likes or whatever they call it. But yeah, well, I don't know how that works, because this is if this was obviously a piece that's got the proper what they call it, you know, from the comic book, was it DC or see how bad am I? I'm always military. Even as a kid, I didn't know anything about these. No interest whatsoever. I like these now because I like the colours. I do go in and, just like the military, I'll go in and read up on what Wolverine is and what he does and all the rest of it. But I have no idea. I just enjoy painting them. But yeah, I don't know how that works. Because if you're selling it, whether you, and there's no criticism of Sanix and the guy that I've printed it off, I'm just saying it from my point of view. I can't understand why I can't then paint it. It's not as if I'm printing them and selling the prints off without permission. But why you can't paint them and sell them, I've no idea. Because it's not as if I'm rattling bloody 1,000 off in a month. Although, as I say, with just super glue on this, there's no way this would go through the post in one piece. Not a chance. Should we go down to the bench and have a look? This is going to be a quick one. Oh, by the way, there's a second video coming up on an unboxing which I've never done. I've got it. I can't even remember with my head problems. It's this. I'll show it now, but it's a mini bust, as we call them, of a French Napoleonic general. I know you can't wait, can you? But you've got to have it. It's coming up after this video. Hi guys, thanks for joining me. So now I start hiccuping. photos at the end. That's the base that was giving me so much trouble. You know, your super glue bits in here and here, and it attaches to here, and it is actually really stable. If it moves very slightly, it's only because it's on some post-it stickers, but it is very stable. All power to Sanix, he's done a blooming good job there, because I kept thinking there's no way, when I hadn't got it properly attached and glued in, I thought there's no way that's going to take the weight of this, because it's not overly heavy, but even still, as I say, I've stuffed up the points of where it's supposed to go, but I mean, it does fit roughly where he is, but they give you a couple of little nubs and a couple of holes in his feet. I just couldn't get it to sit properly. As I say, that's more than likely my fault, because I think if the fella's done that much, or fellaretta, I'm not sure who Sanix is, but he or she did such a great job on the actual base, I cannot see why they would have stuffed that up, so that's probably down to me. Non-metallic again on the on these claw things. Technical word. Oh, then we're losing our backdrop. Although we've got no dusty, I've got rid of all my dusty paint racks now. I've put all my paints in a drawer. I'm sick and tired of the dust. Paint racks are fine, but they're blooming horrible for catching dust. But yeah, really nice. I wouldn't personally have done it's so dark, like the hair stuff on the face and the arms, but it's part of the, you know, what he looks like in the cartoons and stuff like that, and he had moulded on the hair, so it had to come on some way. I probably wouldn't have done that as how it's done, but again, it's part of the cartoon type look. But yeah, under these lights and that, maybe the photographs might be slightly better. But I really enjoy it. As I say, it was the base. All it wasn't even the rest of it. It was just this piece here, where I was going to keep trying to do it like a dirty. I was trying to get like a dirty, brassy look, and it just wasn't working for me. And I must have overpainted that. Not stripped it. I've just kept overpainting it. At least probably 4 or 5 times. And in exasperation, I just sat it back and I just thought, you know what, blue works for me. Obviously it ties in slightly with the rest, but it's not as bright as it looks under all these lights. So yeah, I would thoroughly recommend these type of work. That obviously, because he's got these, I did used to know when I looked up all the details on him, I did used to know the name of the bone things that make the claws, but they are fragile. Not fragile that they're going to instantly break, but you don't want to be. I have actually, as you'd expect, flicked them a couple of times by mistake as I've been painting, and they've held up well. But obviously, other superheroes that don't have that problem, I mean, you're laughing. But always, everything I've seen of this guy or gal's work, it's always top notch, and it was really nice to do. And I will do another superhero with some. I just like the different colours and stuff. It makes a change from military. But I'll probably I might get one of them El Greco fantasy busts figures at some point in February. So thanks for stopping by and taking a look. Photographs at the end, not many, won't bore you too long, but it was nice to do something different. Coming up, as I say, I've got another video on an unboxing which I never did, and it's General Murat at the Battle of Abukir in Egypt, in Napoleon's Egyptian campaign. So there's a mini bust to do, because I want to start that one. I was going to do the Waffen SS bust, the big scale one, but I want to do that as another follow-on one. So, and my wife's just bought me for my birthday coming up in a couple of weeks. She's bought me another. She said, "Do you want to?" She said, "You don't want any more model kits, do you?" I went, and I knew that. No, I don't. Because we just can't. We've redone the room again. There's just no more kits coming in this house unless it's the odd 1 in 700 ship, which tend not to take up a lot of room. We've just got no more room now, and that's the truth. She's just said, "Gav, you've got to build some of these before you get some more in. We just haven't got that type of space." So I heard I'm on message, as they say. So yeah, I did get a bust because I like a couple of busts in the drawer, just in, you know, when I can get to paint one. So I've got another Vietnam one coming. I know I love Vietnam, so unlike the poor buggers that had to serve there, but I enjoyed reading up on Vietnam and watching Vietnam related stuff and painting Vietnam particularly. So I've got another Vietnam bust, fairly simple one, but we'll show that with all the postal strikes plus the places actually, although they take orders, it's not actually open and it's not going to be putting any out until 1st of January or 2nd of January or whenever it is. And then we've got so many postal strikes here. I'm still waiting for stuff that the decals for the die-cast Ford Escort rally car. The guy posted them ages ago, and I can only hope they're in a depot somewhere, mouldering under bloody tons of other stuff. I've also got stuff from Doug Hensley that's probably doing the same. Like, he sent me a couple of shop cards, I think. I've got a Harry Potter figure that I ordered a couple of weeks ago, if not longer, and that, I'm presuming, is just sat in a depot somewhere. I can only hope that they will eventually find me. I don't particularly want to be out of pocket, and I don't really fancy claiming on the blooming people that sent it, because it's not their fault either. So yeah, not particularly happy about that, but there you go. Right, photographs at the end. Another video coming up on the bust. I've been really trying to go to town on clearing some of the figure backlog, that, well, not backlog, but figures that I've got. These are wargaming size figures. I'm doing I had been doing a Panther tank in 1/72 scale, if you remember. Had trouble with tracks on that one as well. My own fault though. I've had the figures, lost interest in that one, but I've finally been painting the figures for that. So I'll be showing those figures off in a couple of days. I'm just working on the last two now. The Roman Praetorians had to redo the shields, and I'm having to paint them by hand. It's taking just a bit longer, but all the figures are painted. So we'll have a show and tell of the Romans at some stage. We'll also have the 1 in 700 USS Lexington coming up. And then I really need to get back to my hot rod and see if we can get some more on the Badger done, and maybe even the bike, I don't know. But we'll try and push, I want to push those forward before I get another model kit out of the teetering pile of military stuff that I've got. Right guys, look after yourselves, and we'll speak very, very soon.